think you have to be rich to do this. Honestly, I've seen school teachers do this. I know a lot of people who have achieved financial freedom and they're not crazy income earners, right? So you can be a medium income earner, you can be a high income earner, but I would say the theme to this, to success is, so this group of people here, right? This I would say really where you're starting out. Let me show you what this looks like from a slide perspective. And there's gonna be a few of these that I'm sharing, and if you've seen this before, it looks familiar to you. It came from Rich Dad Poor Dad. I think he does a great job explaining this. And I wanna put this in perspective because the first, honestly, couple times that I read the book and looked at these diagrams, I just didn't really get it. I'm like, okay, I understand the top boxes, but I don't get the bottom boxes. So let's talk about this, because at the top, there's two boxes and it says your income statement, right? And shows your income and your expenses. That's the money coming in and going out. And that, I think, kind of makes sense to me. At least when I first got started, I'm like, okay, I get that. But this one on the bottom, it says balance sheet and it says assets and liabilities. I didn't really get that, right? So I'm gonna show you this set of boxes 3 different times to have this kind of click, and I'll put it into perspective for you. But this person here, and this was me when we were first in college, it says you have low income, right? You are working a job, and your job, you see this line going into the income section here, that's your salary, that's what you make. 100% of what you make, right? It goes down to the bottom box that says expenses, and you're paying your taxes, and you're paying your rent, and you're paying food, and your car, and clothes, and a little bit of fun money, and then it all goes out, right? There's nothing left. Nothing is saved. You live paycheck to paycheck. This is where, honestly, most of the country lives, in this kind of top box. Do you see how nothing went into the balance sheet? Nothing goes into the bottom. And there's good to that and there's bad to that. But ultimately, you're gonna look at these bottom boxes that says assets, which are things that you buy that are good, things that make you money. Essentially, if you just wanna simplify it, an asset is something that will put money in your pocket every month. A liability is something that will take money out of your pocket every month. So when you're first starting out, you can't even buy liabilities, right? You're living paycheck to paycheck, right? This is like a college student and a lot of people who are very entry-level jobs. And this is honestly where we started. If you are in this place, I wanna show you and I want you to have this mental switch that, you know what, I can move past this, I can move out of this. There is a path for that. And as you are growing here, right, it really moves us into this second stage. And honestly, a good amount of people might be in this second stage, and I would call it the middle class trap. And you know, this is what is pushed. This is what you see on TV. This is, you know, that lady who has the Prada handbag. She has her hair and her nails done and she looks great. It's that guy who has the boat. He has the, you know, the Mercedes. He's got, you know, the several watches. He's got the nice clothes. The shoes are matching, all of that kind of stuff, right? They have a nice house. You know what they also have? Tons of credit card debt, right? No savings, all credit card debt. And it's the people who are chasing the American dream and they're just hooked by consumerism. They're not really saving anything. They're buying only liabilities. They are spending their money to buy things that make them happy and smile and all these things, but it's all debt, right? They have monthly payments that are creeping up. So there's plenty of people that believe that they can achieve this quote unquote American dream. They can live in the nice suburb area. They can have the good job. They can climb the corporate ladder. But you know what it means to them? It means in order for me to have all of these nice things, I have to keep climbing the corporate ladder. Instead of the previous avatar that thought to themselves, you know what, if I need to make, you know, more money, I have to trade more hours. This person here in the middle class trap, they have some level of financial intelligence. They have some training, whether at college or they have some more value to the marketplace. So their goal is, if I'm making $40 an hour, how do I get to $50 an hour? How do I get from 50 to 70? How do I get from 70 to 100, right? Year after year after year. How do I spend the same 40 hours a week and increase the value of those 40 hours? They are still trading their time for money. That is the biggest issue here, right? How do you create a retirement play where money is coming in and you're not trading your time? The middle class trap stops you from getting financial freedom. You look like you have all your crap together. I tell you what, as Laura and I were going through this and we were going broke, we were spending almost no money. We were saving so much of our income those first, 5, 10 years, and we were stacking our chips, we were learning the game, and we were investing. During that time, we had a bunch of friends, a bunch of other people who looked like they were living the high life. They were traveling, they were going on all these vacations, they were getting all this cool stuff. Her and I were sacrificing for a dozen years. And you know what? We skipped this whole middle class thing. We went from being poor and uneducated to financial freedom in a relatively short amount of time because we didn't get stuck. We recognized that this is where the American dream is like quicksand. It pulls you into this thing, right? You go and you get the great job, and then you move out of your dinky little first house into your pretty nice house, right? And then you move from that pretty nice house, you sell it, you take all your equity, now you roll it into the next one, you get into the bigger house in the better neighborhood, and then you add the boat, and then you do it again, and you get the RV, and then you start going to France and all these kind of things. Meanwhile, you are stacking up no chips for investments. You're buying no assets. You're not investing in anything. You're not investing in yourself, right? You're not investing in your financial intelligence. You might be making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, and know what you're spending? Hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, right? Like, what's the point of that, right? Just so you can look good, right? What happens when your parents now get early onset dementia? Can you take care of them? Do you know that we run assisted livings and we see it all the time, right? People who wish they had prepared for their family because they knew that their parents weren't going to do it, right? We are being proactive here. We're going to make sure anybody in our family, if they need it, we have the resources to be able to do it, right? That is responsible. That's taking care of our family and our children and all those kind of things. So I want to show you what this looks like here as we're talking about this graph. It's slightly different, right? Now you see people getting into the bottom units here. So this is what we're talking about. You have people who have average to high income. You can make 80 grand, you can make 200 grand, right? There's a kind of a wide spread here in the middle class. But you see that they have their job, and then the income comes in at the top line there as salary. They have all of their expenses, right? They have taxes. This time now they have a mortgage payment. They have a car payment, which is different than the last class of people. They have credit card debt. They have school loan payments, right? They bought all of these things, the mortgage, the car, the tuition, all of those things. Those things are liabilities. Why? Because it takes money out of their pocket every month. You can buy property. Some of these properties are assets, right? They put money in your pocket. Some of them are liabilities, specifically your own personal house. Your house is a liability until the day you sell it. The day you sell it, you get money for it, but every other day, it just costs you money, right? Unless you're like subleasing out the basement or something like that, it is a liability. And it's totally fine if you choose to do that, right? But I want you to consider that this person right here, all of their money is going to spending towards bigger payments, bigger things. It's fun, right? It's intriguing, it's exciting. It is where the person before them who has no financial intelligence, they couldn't even climb the corporate ladder to be able to have the mortgage and the car payment and do all those cool things and have the vacations. But at the end of the day, both of these groups of people are still saving almost nothing, are still adding nothing to their asset column. Look at their balance sheet. It has nothing in assets, right? That's not a good thing. They're in the exact same position. One person has way more fun and all this kind of stuff, but they also have way more debt, right? So there is, honestly, at the end of the day, if you consider them like family businesses, one has a ton of income and a ton of expenses. One has low income and low expenses, but at the end of the day, they both almost make no profit, right? Because they're not saving any money. Their family is, one bad incident, one paycheck, one lost job away from bankruptcy. Either way, right? They are both not the ideal process here. So I want to show you what the ideal process looks like and really why do people get to this place? Because it does come back to belief. And we're talking about financial intelligence, and there are certain things that people believe when you're financially intelligent. And honestly, this are things that Laura and I had to learn ourselves. We had to really fight against this whole middle class trap. It is literally so intriguing, and it's like quicksand, and it pulls you in and it calls you, and like all of these marketing stuff, right? Spend money here and there, right? And you give yourself little rewards and things, but nonetheless, like if you really decided, this is for me, I want to be in control of my financial future. I want to be able to take care of my family and my kids, or have a worst case scenario, or retire at 45 or 50 or travel the world. Any of these things, man, this is the people who have prepared. They put in this time. And I don't think you have to be rich to do this. Honestly, I've seen school teachers do this. I know a lot of people who have achieved financial freedom, and they're not crazy income earners, right? I think that's a really important distinction. You can make 80 grand a year, get on a plan with your spouse and hit this in, 10, 15 years. So you can be a medium income earner, you can be a high income earner, but I would say the theme to this, to success, is discipline. Discipline is your superpower. The people who do this, right? Because this is not get rich quick. This is get rich for sure. Slow and steady, getting that snowball going. And honestly, it sucks when you see that snowball all small and dinky. It's like, this little piece of crap, man. Like, it's not going anywhere. But give it 5 years, and then it's like, oh, that's pretty cool. All right. And then give it 10 years. And it's like, oh man, we're cooking now. This is going, right? And then it's like, oh my gosh, I'm excited. Like, we can quit. We can do whatever. We could travel the world, right? It doesn't take that long if you are disciplined and consistent and you execute a plan. So let's talk about what this plan looks like. There's one more chart here I want to show you. And now you see the top box is being used, the bottom box is being used, but on the bottom boxes, now we have things in the assets column and not in the liabilities column. So let's take a look at this. You now have this person with high financial intelligence, right? That doesn't mean they're smarter than anybody. It means they put in the time and the effort to learn this money game, because it is a game and there is rules and everyone is playing against you if you do not know these rules. So you have this person, right? They have their job. They're making money. You see this income, right? It's coming into their salary. They are spending that money on assets. They are buying assets. They are paying themselves first. That was one of the steps we're going through here, right? Setting aside 40%, paying down bad debt, and then saving to buy an asset. And that's what you see here. That's what Laura and I did. We started buying rental properties. We started buying very cheap rental properties. That's all we could afford, but they went up, right? And then we bought better rental properties, and then we started investing in businesses. And you can just start where you're at, but learn the niche, because it's not like you get to do this overnight, right? It takes time to pay down the bad debt and start saving. And it gives yourself, 6, 12 months to start figuring out what works for you. But you see this person here, they have their plan. They are buying assets. That asset, that creates income. Every single month, that thing that they purchased now gives them a little bit more money. And the more assets you have, the more money it spits off. So now you use those assets, which create income, to buy your expenses, right? You can use that to pay your taxes. You can pay that for your rent, for your food, those kind of things. This is the process here. Someone with high financial intelligence, they are not spending money buying liabilities. It doesn't mean you should never buy liabilities. That's a personal decision to you. But when you're saying, I have this commitment, I'm in like growth mode, we are committing the next 10 years to hitting these goals, then it's not the time to be wasteful and buy yourself a Corvette. That's not what you need to do, right? If you need to go have, a little 2-day trip to the coast and recharge, cool, do that. But get back and start hustling again, start working 60 plus hours and be saving these things. And you buy the assets, you buy something that's gonna make you money. And you gotta get that snowball started. The sooner you can start, it makes the biggest difference. We talked about the graph from Warren Buffett last week, how right, he made like 99% of his wealth after 50 years old. That just goes to show you the power of compound interest. You just need to start earlier. You need to start faster. You need to start now, right? And honestly, I don't expect you to go buy your first asset tomorrow if you haven't been taking these actions, but you should be getting together with your spouse and saying, babe, we have to get these goals together. We have to stop the bleeding. What are we blowing all this money on, right? What are we spending on, fast food and alcohol and all this junk, right? Let's cut 20%. Let's start figuring out our side hustle. How do we make more money so that we can have more profit at the end of the month? And then we have time to figure out this plan. And we have time to start learning so we can start executing on this.